What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real football fans, stand up, and you are now tuned into the CFO Sports channel. So if you're new, do us a huge favor. Comment, like, subscribe somewhere below, and be sure to turn on the notification bell so you can stay updated with all NFL news and content. Well, y'all, the NFL draft is coming up. We are days away. We're going to be out there in Vegas, as you know, cutting up, having a good time. So I had to call out the big dogs, man. And this guy needs no introduction at all, but I'm going to give him one, man. And this is a guy who I consider a brother, a family member, man. We had a great time when we was out there in Oxnard. I learned so much from this guy. And he's doing incredible things, man. He's a trailblazer, setting the tone for all of us, man. So he pushes me and vice versa. So we talk back and forth a lot on Twitter, as y'all see. But I definitely respect his opinion. So I had to have him on the channel to give you his draft insight. So ladies and gents, with no further ado, I'd like to welcome my guy, Lombardi. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's up, man? Just to kind of break it down to people out here, the Washington football team came out with their little new name and logos and colors and all that. And J Tuck paraded on social media for 3 days saying how upset he was that he can't wear his Letterman jacket no more because he looked like a Washington character, right? And I was just thinking like, man, I just want to, we always look for reasons to just pull out the Letterman jacket for no reason. Oh yeah, I got one, you know what I mean? Just athlete shit, right? So I'm wearing mine today. Pay a little homage to J Tuck, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man. Washington jacket, my Letterman's jacket, man. I can't even wear it in public, man. If I'll show it to y'all, man. If y'all ain't seen the picture, man. But it has the big W because we was Wichita West High, so we had the same colors, the W's, everything in there, man. And like Washington, and now they're getting their fans getting these little Letterman jackets or something. I can't even wear mine in public no more, man. But you know, it is what it is. Like some of our rivals, man, like Northwest, they had them same colors that you got on, man. So you looking like an op right now, Vaj. Looking like an op.
Man. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to do. I already know like where we going in this conversation. We probably gonna be like an hour or something. I don't know which minute we gonna hit it, man. We gonna talk about that JJ character. So you want to go now or you want to do it later? We gonna do
it later, man, because I'm actually proud of you, man, because I saw your top 50 board. And so, it was fair. You know what I'm saying? It's fair. You came back around, man. I was kind of worried about you earlier in the draft process, man. But for the people who do not know where to find you, man, go ahead and let them know where they can find you at, my guy.
You can find me at everywhere, Voch Lombardi, VOCHLOMBARDI. But we've recently also been signed to the Volume. So it's not like I'm not working on Voch. We just got two houses. So right. Voch Lombardi on YouTube and The Volume on YouTube. And I believe, possibly, maybe, speculate, just allegedly, Colin Cowherd may be showing up on my draft show Thursday. So we're going to be doing live draft coverage Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So when you're not tuning in over here, just peep in over here. Just watch both playbacks. Watch everybody. Watch everybody's stuff. And, you'll get some good content in return. So that's what about.
Like I said, man, my guy's out there being a trailblazer, man. I told you behind the scenes, man, but I'm extremely proud of you, man, about the opportunities you've done. And continue to keep the growth, man. Continue pushing. I know a lot of people see Colin Cowherd and like, but hey, man, it's a good look because a lot of people understand we are starting to get noticed, and a lot of people are starting to understand we just not guys in the basement. We do incredible work a lot on our own. Everything y'all see with my production, yours, likewise, we touch. Research, we touch. It's all us. So, it's starting to be appreciated, man, and take advantage of every opportunity. Me personally, I'm going to be out there at the NFL draft. I'll be out there on the red carpet and whatnot, getting some interviews for y'all. I'm not going to be live because it's going to be too much chaos going on. So definitely tune into my guy, Voch, for that live stream because it's going to be crazy. Now, let me ask you this, Voch.
Yes, sir.
Are we going to get a CeeDee Lamb reaction from you on next Thursday? Because I just don't see it happening. But let's go ahead and talk about it. What prospect would be your CeeDee Lamb reaction out the gate?
So this year in the draft is like really weird, right? So I think this year is a tone that's left over from last year's draft. So if you was drafted last year and you was top 13 and you didn't pick a quarterback, you didn't miss at all. Right. So now what happens is, you like to do the whole hindsight game. So if you're drafting 5th overall, you're looking at what 5th overall looked like last year. Like, oh, where's my Jamar Chase? Where's my Micah Parsons? Where's my, Kyle Pitts or whatever? And them dudes ain't here. Like this is a class full of complementary type players. But what's different is everybody from 13 to about 47 is better than everybody from 13 to about 47 last year.
Right.
So like in the teens to the 20s, last year it gets you a Kadarius Toney type cat. It'll get, it'll get you a Christian Darrisaw type cat, which is cool. But this year, because of multiple reasons, position value, teams suck at drafting. Jordan Davis could be a Cowboy. I've seen Karlaftis in my draft. I don't think Stingley gonna be there, but I saw it. Linderbaum could be there. Kenyon Green could be there. So it's a lot of guys that I would go crazy for. It's more picks I would love to have than picks that I wouldn't. And I kind of trust the Cowboys to not mess this up. But if it's like Kenyon Green, Jordan Davis, I ain't really got a wide receiver pick. Just any one of them dudes would be fine with me. But those two guys, Kenyon Green, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean. If any of those three players are Cowboys, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna run outside, but run back because I got to show them.
Yeah, I can agree with you, man. I think I'm right there with you, man. There just isn't those guys, especially since we picking so damn late. But yeah, man, Jordan Davis falls to us, man. Yeah, I might be jumping out in the Vegas Falcons out there, man. That'll be a huge pickup. Also, Nakobe Dean. And I feel like Nakobe Dean is going to be there, which we'll talk about here in the linebacker core here in a second. But, we've seen it happen last year when linebackers slid a little bit. So the opportunity is going to be there. Now, let me ask you this. Oh, salute to my guy, Nick, for the super chat, man. Payday Friday. Let's see here. Payday Friday. Yeah, salute to paydays, man. Gotta love it. Appreciate you, Tuck and Vach. Hope you boys doing well. Have a great weekend. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, my guy, Nick. Yeah, man. So let's talk about it. So a lot of people have been having conversation about the Dallas Cowboys, right? They are saying that we either have to go guard or wide receiver. Guard or wide receiver. We can't make no other damn picks, Vach. It just has to be guard or wide receiver. What is your thoughts on that 24th pick? Like, do we have to select a guard or is it going to fall off the cliff?
No, we don't have to do that. I think what this team would do regardless. I think they feel good about what they have. And fans and how the front office feels, two different feelings. So you may not like cornerback, but they like Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown ain't a terrible player.
Right.
Dante Fowler seems to be a good kind of stopgap situation. Connor McGovern, he's not like, just a turnstile. He may not be what you want, but he's there. So I don't think
let me stop you there on Connor McGovern. What's your thoughts? Do you think that there's a possibility that we can roll out with him as the starting left guard and whoever we draft has to be up on an uphill battle to take his spot from him?
I think if it's an emergency, you can live with him, because, just the whole league sucks at drafting and, developing offensive linemen or whatever. So Connor McGovern may not be great in our eyes because that's, we're the fan base. So we're looking at him every single game or whatever. But he's about what a guard is in the league. Like most guards kind of trash anyway. But Connor McGovern's just a little bit over it. He's just a little below average, whatever that is. So we can, but just to kind of answer, your previous question. What was the previous question?
About us being backed into a corner where we have to take a wide receiver or guards.
Yeah, we don't have to pick anything. So the Cowboys kind of like what they got roster wise. So what I think is going to happen is like there's needs, but then there's like positions where you would like to get better. You know what I mean? So guard, we would like to get better, but Connor McGovern's not going to kill you. So what I think is going to happen is regardless of whatever the pick is in the first round, it could be D tackle, linebacker. You don't need those necessarily. But if the best player available is that, is not a guard or not a wide receiver, if Derek Stingley there, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about Vach, but we need a guard. You'll just find a guard later. You'll just take Stingley and just cut your loss. All right, we got to find some wide receiver that's not top tier. We'll just try to find that later. We'll find a guard that we don't feel as good about, as a Kenyon Green or like a Zion Johnson or something. We're just going to have to not window dress our board. You don't want to have CeeDee Lamb on the board and draft like Chase on just because, you need pass rush. You know what I mean?
Right. So you team BPA, rightfully so. So, and I think that's weird because every time I post a mock, it's like, Tuck, you didn't take a guard. Tucky, you didn't take a wide receiver. But people don't understand you can get that in day two. I mean, there's Ingram out there. There's a lot of guys out there who are going to get your take on because, like, that's Vach's specialty is the offensive line. Like, he knows the offensive line. That's who I trust his eyes when it comes to offensive line, so we're definitely going to talk about it. But I just don't feel like you have to reach like a lot of Cowboys fans assume that you have to do because when we look at the wide receivers, man, it's like we got CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup coming off the ACL, but we did pay him. You do got, Dalton Schultz as well, who you tag. Like, so any wide receiver that you bring in is going to be a complimentary player. So I don't need that guy per se at that 24 spot. So you can go get a slot guy or a wide guy on day 2 or day 3.
Plus, what's the likelihood that you're going to draft a dude and he day one just beats James Washington just flat out? And, I know that sometimes people could be unfamiliar and they won't think highly of a player because they don't know.
Right.
But James Washington wasn't playing great because Ben wasn't playing great. Then Ben got hurt and Mason Rudolph wasn't playing great.
Right.
But when you look when like Ben was throwing like them 500 yards games, like when Ben was getting busy, James Washington was getting busy.
Right.
So if you incorporate that into this offense, it's going to be hard to just bench James Washington, to just take James Washington's job. And if you're not a first round pick, you know what I mean? So you're going to have to fight for what's yours, So I just don't want, the Cowboy fans to just give up on what we got already just because we haven't had like a Chargers offseason.
Right, just because the names are unfamiliar. And I feel like that's where the Cowboys are getting. Like, even though we haven't been active as we would like for the Cowboys to be in the offseason, that's a whole nother comment. I guess Stephen Jones came out and spoke today on the radio, but, it is what it is. But I feel like there is some talent there where we just need complementary pieces. We don't just need this huge gaping hole that has to be filled or else when it comes to this draft. And I think a lot of Cowboys fans just need to realize that. But not everyone goes deep. Not everyone goes that deep and go in day 2 and day 3. Everyone taps out. And I always say this, Vach, the day 1, that's for the jersey sales. You know what I'm saying? Like day 2, day 3, that's when you really build the core of your team. So there's going to be value in these later rounds. Now, the Cowboys have had, their 30 visits or whatnot. Kenyon Green, Chris Olave, Charles Cross. I want to pause on Charles Cross.
Sure.
The conversation is, if one of the tackles is there, whether it's Cross, whether it's Penning, whether it's Raymond, my guy, Professor O's been talking about him, do you think the Cowboys would consider taking a tackle and stashing him to kind of be your complimentary player for Tyron Smith when you eventually move on?
If it's the right tackle, then fine. So how my draft brain kind of works out, like it's like tiers, and it's like tiers where people are gonna go, but you may not want them there, and then it's like right up under that. So I would love to have a player like Charles Cross. I just don't think he's gonna make it there. Like, but him being a 30 visit kind of tells us something, though, right? Like, you know, maybe we'll, like maybe if he gets to 15, we've done the math on what it takes to get up to 15 to go get a guy like Charles Cross. If we get a Bernard Raymond, I'm gonna be sick. At 24.
So that's what O's been putting that energy out in the air, man. He started that last Wednesday about Raymond being there, man. And I'm just not a fan of Raymond at 24, man, either. So
yeah, me neither. And even if you end up with Bernard Raymond, I don't hate the player, but I just think at 24 is gonna be much better players there. You just can't be like, oh, Jordan Davis, Kenyon Green, Tyler Linderbaum, Bernard Raymond. Like that just don't fit with them, Right. So like if it's like Raymond or like Penning or something like that, I wouldn't want to draft those dudes at 24 with the idea that they're going to come in and be tackle for me. But they're only here because that's how the league sees them. I'm with these guys, with the Kellen Dyche. I'm with the Max Mitchells. I'm with the Rasheed Walker. Abraham Lucas, another guy that I like. And sometimes you got to look at where you would get guys. I like Abraham Lucas in the late 2nd or early 3rd better than I like Bernard Raymond at 24.
Right.
He's the better player, but you got to look at what you're going to get. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But then if I got to pick between George Pickens and Abraham Lucas, I'm picking George Pickens. So
right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So sure, I would love to have a tackle. I don't want to reach for a tackle. I don't want to just get a tackle for the sake of saying that we got a tackle. It all got to make sense. If Charles Cross puts on a gas mask, robs a bank, and get caught some coke at the border, he falls to you at 24, then you having a party and you just moving on with your life.
Hey man, you need to stop putting that energy out there, man, because your gun under the seat guys, you know what I'm saying? Like
well, see, I only say that because people be having gun under the seats, they kidnap their girlfriends and they get caught with coke at the border.
Right.
One of these cats really had like 100 pounds worth of coke in their trunk at the border. Like what? I forgot who it was, but somebody did for real. So.
Hey, they got bills, man. Everybody got bills, man. You know what I'm saying? Out there, trap lords out there, man.
You got bills, but you are an example on my YouTube channel now. Cocaine in the trunk guy.
Right, cocaine in the trunk guy. So someone asked in the chat about Salyer, the guard. What is your thoughts on him? Is he kind of guy that you got your eyes on?
Fun player. I think he can be a second round guy for you. I thought that he was gonna be like a third round dude because he was gonna be purely guard for you, but he showed some good tackle tape versus Aiden Hutch. Versus a lot of guys. Like Salyer got some good ass tape. So Salyer is one of those. He's probably gonna be guard, but could probably play tackle in the pinch guys. But I don't think he's gonna be like a full blown my future at tackle guy. But fantastic player, love him. Ingram, like they're in that second tier of guard that I'm looking for. Then there's the guys that play tackle that you would move to guard, like that whole situation. So
let me get your thoughts on a prospect who I personally like, and it's Cole Strange out of Chattanooga. Guard. So tell me what your thoughts is on him. I see violent, man. I know a lot of people say he's undersized, Tuck, he's too small. We don't want another small guard, but he's not Connor Williams. I feel like he plays a lot stronger than Connor Williams did coming out into the draft. So what is your thoughts on Cole?
Base and knee bend, so that's why he plays a little more, stout than Connor or whatnot. When you watch his like film, like he beating up on the little school kids, you're like, all right, cool. But when you watch the Senior Bowl, it was only a handful of offensive linemen to really feel good about. It was like 3 of them, 4 that you really felt good. Ed Ingram was another one. But Cole Strange from Chattanooga was one of the guys that you actually saw playing center, sitting down on bull rushes, that actually was able to mitigate power. Best mover in the world, I don't know, but you can work on that. You can get him in a weight program, get him in a movement conditioning program. You can work on things like that. But just a player that can probably be like a developmental kind of cat. I don't know if he starts day one. Because the league is hard to just roll into. I don't think he'll be better than Biotis day one. But if he gets to come in and fight with Fournier, and then you don't pay Biotis, and then he'll be a guy that can come play for you in like 2-3 years or something like that, then that'll make sense for Cole Strange. I like to play.
Yeah, I like Cole. But you mentioned another person. So Tyler Biotis, the center position. Because me personally, I felt like in the interior that was one of the biggest struggles. Now he did play a little bit better as the season progressed. Do you think that there could be a possibility where Linderbaum could slide a little bit? He's sitting right there, but the Cowboys snag him at the center position and maybe look to move on from Tyler B? Or do you think Tyler B's spot is solid in Dallas for a little bit?
If Linderbaum is the best player on your board, then take him. But I'm wary of how much better do you get from a league-wide standard opposed to the guys that's on the board with Linderbaum, right? Because if you look around the league, you just ask yourself, man, okay, how many top-tier centers are there? And you can name like 2.
Right.
I can name 3, and I'm O-line. I don't really know them like that.
Right. Everybody wants to see Travis Frederick back.
Travis was rare for a reason. Travis made all the Pro Bowls for a reason because it wasn't nobody else. He was good, but it wasn't nobody else.
Right.
So I think Biotis is basically a starting center in the league, and all your offensive linemen don't have to be Pro Bowlers or whatnot. But Linderbaum is better than Biotis. But just ask yourself, from a league-wide standard, how much better is Linderbaum than Biotis?
Yeah.
Then ask yourself, how much better is Kenyon Green than whoever you're going to be rolling out at left guard? Just think about how much you're going to be getting better. Or Jordan Davis over Bohanna or something. You know what I mean? Whoever your first one tech is. So, you always take the best player, and if Tyler's Linderbaum, we got 2 Tylers,
right?
Fine.
2 Tylers, right?
Sure. So if Linderbaum is your bona fide best player on the board, and you got him ranked better than everybody, then fine, take the player. But I just don't want us to be reaching just because we think Tyler Biotis is bad. Tyler is what the league is.
Right, and I agree, and I might suits my guy Rome, Cowboys fan talk. He dropped the video. Like, do you think the center position was the difference in our season? Do you think the guard was the difference in our season? No, there's a lot of other things that really went into play. But like you said, it depends on the gap between what you currently have and what you can get. But I just don't see a drastic gap between Tyler Linderbaum and Tyler Biotis. It's just it's marginal. But
Tyler Biotis and La'el Collins were your best linemen at the end of the year. Zach Martin got a lot of credit
because he's Zach Martin.
Because he's Zach Martin, but Zach Martin has some weird games toward the end of the season.
Yeah, we weren't looking. That 49ers game though, all of our big dogs got punched in the mouth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Tyron got punched, Zach Martin was getting bullied, but a lot of people kind of turn a blind eye to it because like it's Zach. You know what I'm saying? He cool.
I can at least give Tyron some credit because he was coming back from an injury and he was just a little stiff and he wasn't moving the way he normally moves. We still got to look at a new Tyron thing at some point. One day it's going to happen. But, just because Zach got a lot of credit in the streets don't mean he was playing better than Tyler Biotis. Biotis was fine, actually. Right. But, some of the other guys weren't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man, I call offensive lineman picks at 24 socks for Chris. It's like, it's like a winter coat. it's nothing too
but
fun.
You need socks.
Yeah,
you
need socks and you need a winter coat. You know what I'm saying? We gotten toys the last 2 years, man. We didn't pull out PS5s, all sorts of stuff. You need a winter coat, man. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, when they good socks, you ain't got to just keep buying socks.
Right.
Like you ain't drafted left tackle in a long time because that's a good pair of socks.
Got a good pair of socks.
So let's get a good pair of socks now with left guard, so we ain't got to worry about it.
And even when those socks get a slight little hole in them, you still run with them a little bit. It's good. You fold it over a little bit. You good. So I want to go to one of my favorite positions, man, and it's an extension of the offensive line, the tight end position. So, the conversation is the Cowboys are a lot more efficient, and they started to be more efficient last year going to 12 personnel. We did franchise tag Dalton Schultz. We lost Blake Jarwin. We bringing back Sean McKeon. Also, I think we brought back Sprinkle as well.
Sure. What
is the importance for you when it comes to tight end? Do you think it's something we need to address earlier on the draft, or do we wait day 3 and just grab a guy? Then we're going to talk about who are some of your guys you would eye to bring into Dallas.
Dak likes tight ends.
Right.
We can't deny that Dak likes tight ends. But that don't mean Dalton Schultz special. You know what I mean? Dalton Schultz played well. Dalton Schultz caught the ball when we asked him to catch the ball.
Right.
That don't mean Dalton Schultz is special. It's actually interesting coming out of Stanford. He was actually a blocking tight end.
Right.
We taught him how to catch, and now he can't block no more. Train.
We got where he came from.
Weird. What I would rather Dallas do is to do what we should be doing at running back and just kind of make that thing a rotation. Just, draft, develop, move guys up, and then playing when it's time to play. Mm-hmm. So, Witten was there, and then you moved on. Jarwin was what Jarwin, he would have been just fine.
Right.
Honestly. Jarwin moves on. You go to Schultz. Schultz, you move on. Sean McKeon, your turn next. All you do, catch the ball, we throw it to you, you'll be just fine. And then whoever else we draft after you, we'll go through that 2-year grooming process. Then when it's your time, it's your time. I think tight ends should be like that. I think running back should be like that. Because Dalton Schultz, what did he do special? He wasn't like a Kyle Pitts type character where he was just, we just gonna be one-on-one all day, every day.
Right.
He was finding open spots in Kellen's zone.
But don't you want that? Don't you think that would completely open up our offense and give it a different look? Because we kind of always had, you mentioned Witten, Jarwin, on the Schultz, on the McKeon, right? It's kind of all that same mold versus a tight end that can really impact the game at all 3 levels. Like, don't you think that could be the difference in this offense to open things up, especially for Dak, because he likes to attack the middle of the field?
Sure. The problem is just that, do you consider Schultz that guy? Right. So if Schultz is not that guy, I don't mind you go finding a guy. Right. So if we're having a Jelani Woods conversation, he's a guy that gets busy downfield. You know what I'm saying? So if you want a guy or like Likely from Coast Carolina, something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Just, one of the guys that can do receiving things downfield. If that's what you want to do, then fine, long as it works. I don't care, long as it works. You know what I mean? But you just gotta, if Dalton's not giving you that and that's what you prioritize, they're gonna find a dude that does that for you. And if you're gonna be in 2 tight end sets anyway, then let Dalton do the underneath seamy running stuff, and then you can, take your second tight end, which would be your more vertical guy. Oh, he's lined up at Z on this play. Oh, the linebacker went with him because they're in man cover. Oh, he's running past that linebacker for a touchdown.
Right.
If you want to play 2 tight ends like that, just having 2 different type of tight ends, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
I just don't think that Dalton Schultz keeps you from looking for somebody else.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's what the Cowboys need. Because like I said, doing the 12 formation, and like I said, Dalton Schultz did his job. You know what I'm saying? Hats off to Dalton Schultz, but it just doesn't give you that impact. And I feel like last year, one of the biggest issues with their offense is defensive coordinator sat back and said, if you're going to beat us with Dalton Schultz, we'll take that. So he wasn't really a threat. Like you said, he's more of a chain mover type tight end. But if you were to add an Isaiah Likely, for some reason, I don't know what the hell he did. What if he might got caught at the border with bundles? Because PFF then dropped him almost out the top 200. I'm not sure what Isaiah Likely did. But if you're able to get a player of that caliber, also my guy, Trey McBride, I feel like he's another guy that you can plug in there to definitely have impact. Now, I like Jelani Woods. I'm just not extremely high on him, maybe like you. And also, I think Jeff's high on him. Also, my guy Knicks are high on him. When it comes to Jelani Woods, what is it that you're seeing that really has you jump? Because I didn't see your tight end rating, so you didn't tag me in it. But
tight ends, I just don't value tight ends enough to,
to
sit down and watch 12 of them and make a top 10. And then so just context, right? Because I'm gonna say this a bunch when we talk later. Just context with Jelani. I like him, but I think he's a 4th round guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, cool.
Because in my mind, that's where like developmental players go. That's where problem players go. That's where hurt players go. The top of the 4th round, that's where a lot of those dudes just typically are. So if I gotta look like, if it's like Jelani Woods or like Khalil Shakir from Boise State, I'm going Khalil every day. I know he could play this right now. I got to teach Jelani for like 4 years before he could possibly be what he's going to be. Even though I think Jelani can do some things right now, he just does them badly. You just can't be in the league doing things badly. Like your athleticism would have to super overcompensate for that. But I'm floor guy with possible floor ceiling. Like that's my favorite kind of player. And Jelani can play right now. He bigger than everybody else, so he makes blocking look easy. So I don't know how it's gonna look when he blocks like bigger people on the next level. Good size, hard to tackle. Probably because he's bigger than everybody, but I don't know how that's going to be on the next level when everybody gets bigger. And he runs past everybody. I don't know how that's going to be when everybody gets faster. We'll just have to see. He doesn't have like nuanced tight end things that'll make him overcome the next level being better. So we'll just have to cross that road whenever we get there. But solid player. I don't think he'll be there in the 4th. I think some team is going to covet the athleticism and they'll take him in the 3rd, which is fine with me. But if we got to live with a guy like Likely or like Werdermeyer or something like that, like I'll take an undrafted Werdermeyer, roll the dice in the bathroom, see what happens with him. You know what I mean? Like 40 time is one thing, but if we're not drafting them, let's just see if we can get what we can get from Texas A&M.
And he's an interesting prospect because I said, man, I've never seen a player just lose so much money that quickly because coming into the draft process, he was like the #1 tight end on a lot of boards, and all of a sudden he's falling off to being undrafted. So I mentioned if he's there as an undrafted free agent or maybe sitting there in the 6th round, you might just grab him because you don't want him to talk to other teams because the film is there. He's decent enough. He just had a horrible pro day. And like I said, I don't know who his agent is, but why would you let him go out there knowing his numbers was that damn sloppy in training and he really ain't been locked in because he cost himself some dollars. So, he's another prospect you can honestly pick up. Another guy that people have been kind of tying to the Dallas Cowboys. He had some issues. I mean, not just off the field, but just health issues was Grant Calcaterra out of SMU, with some concussions. He started off at OU, kind of had to sit out, but he came back. The talent is there, but do you take a fight on a guy like that as an undrafted free agent? It's going to be a possibility. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with tight end. There's some options out there, man, but I like some of those, the top shelf, man. And I've been trying to get me a top shelf watch for so long, man. You go back some years, trying to get that top shelf tight end. I'm kind of getting these mid-tier project guys. Like the Rico Gathers and so on. So,
But that's what tight end is though. Like how often do we get top shelf guys? You know what I mean? Like they'll come out, but they'll be like the Hockenson type that go top 12 or whatever he went. And are we taking a tight end top 12? Like is Hockenson's impact on the Lions worth what Micah Parsons' impact is for us from a top 12 level, right? So just like, I don't want to be position value guy. I try not to be that guy, but a lot of it makes sense. A lot of position value stuff makes sense. And running back and tight end is just kind of one of those ones. But I'm not gonna be phony. I was on the man. Can you imagine what Kyle Pitts looked like in Dallas? But man, I was on that train with you last year.
That was different though. That was different. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Pitts is a different animal, man. I try to tell everybody about that because, like you said, he can do a lot more things than just be your typical tight end. And so he can put a lot more, mismatches on the field when you have those little small linebackers or slow linebackers lined up, unless they got a Micah Parsons, but they ain't got one. So let's transition over to the defensive side of the ball. So you spoke about Jordan Davis, your reaction if he was to slide. But another guy, Vach, has been kind of, I don't know, I really can't gauge it, is Devontae Wyatt. And I feel like from the full scope of things, if you're just looking player per player, Devontae gives you a little bit more than what Jordan Davis provides, but I just can't get a grasp. So what is your thoughts on Devontae Wyatt?
Devontae Wyatt as a player or Devontae Wyatt versus Jordan Davis?
Let's start as a player first.
Yeah, fantastic player. And Jordan's so big that it make Devontae look small, but Devontae is still 315. And being 315, being able to move like he moves is crazy but he plays for Georgia. So I think a lot of that got lost. If you have the opportunity to draft Devontae Wyatt, you run and go do it. I just don't think he'll be there. But he could be a guy that slides a little bit. You know, the league is kind of funny with tackles or whatever.
Right.
But,
and also he had some off the field stuff, even though it was off the field stuff in the NFL. I mean, my bad. My bad.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah,
2 game suspension. He'll be right back.
Yeah, sweep that under the rug.
Yeah, but some people would call him like a sometimes guy, like a flashy player, but I just think that's just Georgia defense. Like he could make a play, like 3 other people made it. So I mean, it's one of the men to do. But in terms of like beating blocks, first step, he's always the first one off the football. Solid hands. I wouldn't call him powerful hand guy consistently, but he's like quick hand guy. And being 315, big first step, quick hand guy, that's a hell of a combination for you. And I think people would rank him over Jordan Davis because he does have, like, there's evidence on film of him being like, oh, I get pass rush from this dude also.
Right.
So he'll probably end up being like a Grady Jarrett type of guy. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Wyatt.
Yeah, and I think from the Cowboys standpoint, because I'm gonna ask the next question, but I feel like what we haven't had in quite some time is that big nose tackle. I don't think Urban's coming back. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. So I know that we really need that true one tech, but if they're both fall right to you, there's Wyatt, there's Davis, who are you putting the card in for?
So this is where I'm phony, because I do think Wyatt has the better like draft profile, because we talking about these levels, right? The league will look at Wyatt and probably draft him first because it gives you pass rush value. If we can turn this into a nuanced discussion and we just ignore league standard for a second,
right,
and just don't take
player versus player.
Sure. If we look at the term role player, we look at it and think something bad about it. Like we'll think, oh, he's a 6 man in the NBA, something like that, right?
Right.
Jordan Davis as a role player has the ability with Dan Quinn and all his Cowboy perspective to unlock your defense and take it to another level, right? Because it's more than just like if Devontae wins a one-on-one matchup in B gap, like he's like B gap mostly is one-on-one matchups anyway. Him versus some guard or whatever. Okay, cool. That's your impact, and maybe your pass rush helps somebody, like whatever, just sporadic impact, right? Jordan Davis. Not only his one-on-one contribution, right? Like he may whoop a center, fine. How much better do you make Micah Parsons by just existing?
Right.
Or whoever your will line, so Jabril or whoever, Kobe Dean, how much better do you make that guy by just existing? How much better do you make your 3 tech by just existing? When David Irvin existed, everybody else was just spectacular.
Right, everyone was eating.
When it was David Irvin season and we were like, hey man, can we put 3 people over there? D-Law had like 13 sacks and shit. Every Jeremy Mincy was getting up. Like it makes everything better when you got that dude in the middle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I do think Jordan Davis could be a pass rusher for you. I mean, I have some theories about how he ran his 4.7, which is fine. But But fam, like that dude, like just imagine a dude that makes Osa, Neville, DeMarcus, Micah, make everybody better. Then when the pass rush is better, the safeties and corners get better. You get more turnovers just because your one tech is getting you pass rush. I think Jordan Davis does more for you. So in a draft vacuum, you know what I'm saying? Devontae Wyatt may be the guy, but I'm talking about Cowboy perspective. Jordan Davis in Jacksonville ain't gonna be like Jordan Davis in Dallas.
Right. Because
we got a Micah Parsons and they don't. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So just in terms of the more valuable player, I'm taking Jordan Davis at 24 if both wrong.
From the Cowboys standpoint, because of the one tech when it opens up. Because I always try to explain this to my viewers, right? The one tech, the defensive line, like that's like the offensive line for your linebackers, right? So you can keep, Micah Parsons, Jabril Cox, or whoever clean and let them come free, man. It opens up so much for your defense. Because like even Ray Lewis, as great as he was, when he got that big nasty nose, it just opened up things for him. So yeah, I agree. I think from the standpoint of the Cowboys, Jordan Davis would be the prospect or be the pick, but I just think that Wyatt is the better NFL prospect, like you said. But looking at some other defensive tackles, man. So you have DeMarvin Leal, you have Philandri Mathis, you have Travis Jones. Where do you think the Cowboys prioritize taking, a defensive tackle? Do you think that's more of a day 2? If you don't get the cream of the crop, Jordan Davis, is it day 2, or do you think it's day 3-ish?
So just like we said earlier, right? Like if if it ain't really Jordan Davis, I ain't really pressed to take one tech, because one tech is another one of those position value things, and you can go down the list. We can look at the UCLA kid. You can look at Neil Farrell. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're all 340-pound kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
McCall out of Kentucky. Yeah.
Same dude.
Right.
So, if you don't get Jordan Davis, you just live with Carlos, Bohanna, you know what I'm saying? I don't think Justin Hamilton anymore. But like, you just live with them big dudes and just kind of move on with your life. But if you have the opportunity to draft for Jordan Davis, that supersedes position value. You take that dude at 24, and then you scramble to get a guard and a receiver and whatever you need later.
Yeah, I agree. My guy Chris Graham just mentioned a key guy. It's one of my favorites, one of my pet cats, Logan Hall, out of the University of Houston. I want to get your thoughts when you watch him. What's your thoughts? I know a lot of people kind of get him as a tweener. Where he's going to be defensive end, defensive tackle. Like, where can he really fit? But what's your thoughts on Logan Hall out of Houston?
It's funny when you get bad players, they're tweeners, but when they're good, they're like hybrid players.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. Like, they'll put a tweener on them real quick, and then
nobody will call.
He could play across the board. He's versatile.
Sure. Nobody's calling Michael Parsons a tweener.
Right.
He's a versatile player.
Right.
Logan Hall is a versatile player. I think he can play in multiple spots, and I think that's going to give him draft value. I think if you're like a 3-4 team or whatever, he can play 3-4 end for you. He can play 3-tech for you. He can play edge for you. I think he's best in an even front playing 3-tech B gap or whatnot. Because I think that's where his, like, for his size, quickness kind of comes into play a little better.
Right.
I don't think he's like full-time even front defensive end quick. But if he had the 2 gap, I think he's strong enough to punch people and read people. And when it's time to pass rush from the inside, I think that's what he's good at. Also, if you want to make him a base strong side defensive end, he can kind of do some of those things too. Long player, violent, fun dude.
Yeah. Like I say, high motor, man. Like I said, I watched him. I went to watch Marcus Jones at first, and I was watching film on him. I was like, what's this going on down here? Sure. So Logan Hall is definitely one of those guys. So now I'm gonna transition over to one of my positions that I think is an important piece for the Dallas Cowboys, and some may disagree, is the linebacker slot. So you mentioned Nakobe Dean. I know Devin Lloyd is another guy. He was a Cowboys visit. Without Dean, let's say, for instance, Dean Lloyd's off the board, right? Because I think Philly are kind of high on him as well. Where do you think the Cowboys prioritize taking not tight end, but a linebacker? Because I know a lot of people say, but Tuck, we got Van Der Esch for a 1-year deal, and you're gonna have Draymond Curse kind of being your nickel guy, and got Cox coming back, so we really don't need to take a linebacker. What's your thoughts on that?
I think Van Der Esch is here just in case you don't draft a linebacker. Honestly,
in case of emergency.
Sure, and nobody here is stopping you from taking a first-round linebacker. Neither. It depends on the guy. So Devin Lloyd was a 30 visit for them. It kind of sucks for me to say this, but I think they like Devin Lloyd a little more than Dean. If that's the case, cool. Dean's my number 1 guy, fine.
Right.
Quay Walker's my number 2 guy, fine.
Right.
Devin Lloyd's like 3rd, but that don't mean Devin Lloyd's bad. I just value him a little less than the Cowboys. Or they visit him or whatever. But I don't think that Van Der Esch or Jabril stops you from drafting somebody. I just think that you'll draft a guy and they'll find a way in the pecking order, whatever. Because even if you don't draft like a top tier player that's a starter, you need people to run down the field on kickoff. So you just need linebackers in general.
Right.
Like, and the Cowboys have always just drafted linebackers because you need those guys, whether it be depth or kicking game or whatever. So if you draft a Nakobe Dean, you fit him in front of Jabril and move on with your life. If you draft a Quay Walker, Devin Lloyd, they compete with Jabril, and whoever wins, they go there. And you move on with your life. If you draft like a Brandon Smith, they'll compete with Jabril. You know what I'm saying? If you draft a linebacker in the 5th round, they'll go after Jabril, and then they'll compete with Gifford or whatever, right? So whoever you pick at linebacker, whatever round is going to be, it's going to be except with Micah, it's going to be competition, and wherever it goes, you just kind of go down the board. So
right, so you can kind of feel the death piece. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I think there's a lot of people like JoJo Dalman out of Nebraska, also Damone Clark out of LSU that you can probably get day 2. But like me,
I don't like Damone Clarkson. I don't like.
You don't like him? I mean, but as a death piece though, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying he's high on the. You don't like him at all. He's get him out of there.
This This is my problem. And look, I don't dislike a lot of players. Like even with the dude that we're gonna talk about later, I don't dislike him. It's all about where guys get taken.
Right.
If we put Damone Clark in the 7th, I'm gonna still look at him and be like, that dude don't like to tackle people. And he played linebacker. You remember Darren Lee? Right. 5 years ago, something like that, went to the Jets. Athleticism, right? And everybody, oh, his athleticism. But he ain't tackle nobody.
Yeah, I can see it.
Linebacker. You know? And Damone Clark, if you just watch enough Damone Clark, you're like, man, how did he trip over that grass before he made the tackle? Like, damn, why did he fall on that pile like that? There's opportunity to
clean him up, though. Dan can clean him up.
You know? I got faith in Dan Quinn cleaning up everybody. But give me a better baseline player for him to clean up than a player that don't tackle nobody for him to clean up. Go clean up a better player.
Take out Clark. You can add like Chad Moon in there, Troy Anderson. All right, that little bit better. That's more your flavor right there.
I like Troy Anderson a lot, but not just like linebacker. Like shouts out to Foots. Foots like Troy Anderson, like a 2nd round pick. But I look at Troy Anderson and I go, oh, you played every position at Montana State? Okay, cool. I want you to throw fakes on punt team and everything. Right. I want you to run around.
Run his read option real quick for us. You know what I'm saying?
I want him to be what Jeff Heath was to our kicking game. That's what I want. That's why I want Troy Anderson to be, because he's athletic enough to go on everything and just hit people. So I want him to do that and throw a fake.
Yeah, he just a pure football player, man. Sometimes you need them guys out, them blue collar guys out. All right, so now we're gonna go over to the position I know you probably want to talk about, defensive end. So, you know, some of the top guys, of course, Aiden Hutchinson, Thibodeau, you know, they're not going to be there, but we have seen mocks, as you mentioned earlier, where George Karlaftis does fall to the Cowboys. How, I do not know. So what's your thoughts on George, man? Greek freak.
I think a lot of people don't watch film on George, or they haven't watched film on George. And I think people, sometimes they craft their opinion on what their favorite content people say, which nothing really wrong with that, but don't speak on it like it's your opinion and don't down somebody else's opinion like you put the work into this opinion. Oh, Karlaftis is trash because somebody said so. Have you seen Karlaftis?
He don't have the bend. He doesn't have the bend or explain. Where'd you get that from? He just ain't got it.
So if you just, I mean, how many bendy pass rushes do we get every year that just don't work out? You know what I mean? But then if you think about the dudes that come in with hand technique, you know what I mean? Or that, you know, learn hand technique, develop the hand technique. You know what I mean? Them dudes always are the ones that live. How many times have we seen the pass rusher with no bend? Like these Max Crosby guys, you know what I mean? Or the Bose kids a bit much. We ain't going that far. But I'm floor guy. I like what I can see right now. I like Karlaftis because I know he rushes with a plan. He rushes with a motor. He rushes with his hands. I love that to pieces. He changes his technique up. I love that. You know, Thibodeau's a guy that's run past people. You know what I mean? He runs past people, and that's fine. Right. But if you play better players, you can't just run past them. You got to develop something. I'm not saying Thibodeau won't. I'm just saying I see Karlaftis rush with a plan right now. Right. And I think if you're like a rookie player and you rushing with a plan already, I think that's worth investing in. Like that dude falling to 24 is madness to me. But I take him though. Sure,
yeah, I'll take him. Like I said, I don't understand what the huge knock is on him. Like, you know, sometimes I'll mention him on Twitter and everybody gets all disgruntled. I'm like, man, he's a great player, man. He's a huge asset and he's strong. He's a bull, man. So you need some of that out there, and it can definitely help our defense. Now, another name I'll mention before we get to the name that I know you want to talk about is David Ojabo out of Michigan. We know that he had the ACL injury, right? Would you consider taking him and stashing him?
Sure would. 100%. 100%. Okay. Well, first of all, modern medicine. So if you tear your ACL, you know what I mean, tear your Achilles.
He has Achilles, not ACL, Achilles.
Yeah, they don't just cut your leg off the wall. You know what I mean? Cam Akers tore his, and he was in the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. Right.
so my whole thing with Ojabo is you don't really need him for preseason. You need him for playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Right. And even if he don't play, you get 4 more years of a guy with. If you like the player and you think that there's, something, you put him in that program. Even if you redshirt him for a year, you give him that offseason peanut butter, he'll get bigger, he'll get better, all the things that the peanut butter does. And then next year, when you get Sean Payton or whatever, next year, you know what I'm saying? Then David Ojabo is one of them guys for you. You lose a Randy Gregory. Hell yeah, I'll take David Ojabo. It's crazy how phony people get over injury, right? Like he was a top 10 guy before he got hurt. Jameson Williams was a top 10 guy before we got hurt. So what's stopping you from drafting a Jameson Williams? What's stopping you from drafting David Ojabo?
I've been trying to have that whole Tuck. We can't have them because we'll have 2 wide receivers out in the ACL. Well, we're gonna be a cold team in November. We're gonna be cold in November.
We're gonna be straight.
Yeah,
you feel me? The playoffs?
Man, we gonna go right to the playoffs, streaking, man. You give me some Jameson Williams right now.
Also, too, let me say this because this is Cowboy land. Let's just be honest here, right? We're gonna make the playoffs, and I tell you why we're gonna make the playoffs, right? Even if you feel like we haven't gotten better. If you feel like, oh, well, all the other teams in the East gotten better and we haven't. My question to you is, have they gotten 30 points better? You know, have those other team in the East gotten a 40-point blowout better than you? And the answer is no, because you still got 4. And as long as you got 4, you can, 4 can go out there with James Washington and smoke the football team and smoke D. Once you get into the tournament, everything is different. Everything's off the table then. So you mean to tell me we get to walk into a tournament, and just add David Ojabo just on top of everything, just add David Ojabo.
Right.
Man.
Or Jameson Williams. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like at the end of the day, even if you look at our schedule, y'all, you can take Dak Prescott and me out there, and we're going to get you in. We're going to get you 9 wins. You know what I'm saying? Just off of that alone. You know what I'm saying? We got the Jags. We got, Lions, Bears. You know what I'm saying? All sorts of games we should be able to handle as long as 4 are standing up. So I feel like that's the case. The Cowboys could be perfectly fine, which is why I wouldn't be opposed for Ojabo or Williams if they were to fall, just based off the injuries. Because you tell them, like I said, we can get these guys in November and then add them on. We'll be perfectly fine. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you your time, man. So I'm talking about the next prospect here, man. Jermaine Johnson out of Florida State. What's your thoughts on him, man? Go ahead, do your thing.
First of all, Jay Tuck is a bully, and I shouldn't even be on this show. I shouldn't even be here because of how I've been bullied on social media.
No, hold on. We are not about to do that, man. So I was minding my business, right? I was probably bothering somebody. But then you sent all of your viewers, your 70,000 army over to tell Tuck that Jermaine Johnson not going in the first, the second, not the third.
It was more like, I trust Jay Tuck's judgment. What does he see in this kid? That's more so what it was. And then you just started tagging up a story. You just tagged me in every Jermaine Johnson clip you can find.
Oh,
this is my thing, Jay Tuck. This is my, and even look, man, look
brothers. I don't bully Voch, man. I bully some other people. I don't bully.
Look me in the eye, Jay Tuck. Look me in the eye, Jay Tuck.
Let's go.
Is Jermaine Johnson a top 5 pick, sir?
No. I never said he was.
I'm not saying you just said. So this is my thing, right? I believe in drafting off film, and he has a boost from Senior Bowl and there's a boost from Combine. Cool. But his film ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? So I like Jermaine Johnson. I think he's a fun player. If he ends up being a Cowboy, depending on where we draft him and depending on who's on the board, I would love to have Jermaine Johnson on my team. But Vice, don't you think that Dan Quinn can take him and make him a star? Sure. 10,000%. Love me some Jermaine Johnson.
Right.
But I love Khalil Shakir, and he's a 3rd round type of guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So when I look at Jermaine Johnson, right, not saying he's a whatever, because I was saying that at first, but I was like, all right, cool. So just to your credit, this is what I did. And I encourage everybody else to do this. When you're the opposite of what everybody else is doing, just do a little bit more work. That's what I encourage everybody to do. Like, for all these people that be in my chat, they be like, oh, the disrespect for Kyle Hamilton. Everybody saying this about Kyle Hamilton, but you. Go do some more research and then come back and we'll talk, right?
Right.
So I did some more research. I watched 9 games of Jermaine Johnson over like 2 different years or whatever, right? And I saw a player that had traits, but he was kind of sometimesy to me. Anybody can agree with that. Right. He was a player that would do some great things sometimes, and then he'll disappear sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, cool. So that's one thing. You're a sometimesy guy, which is fine because they call those flash players, and if we can harness that flash, you could be fine. You watch him as a pass rusher, right? And, he doesn't have all the nuances in the world. I'm Florida guy. I like what you got right now.
Right.
He ain't got everything now. He don't have every rush in the tool belt. I think David Ojabo got a couple more pass rush moves than him. That may be working with Aiden Hutchinson or working with Quidipel or whatever they doing in Michigan. But just in terms of where we at right now, I just don't see a lot of moves from Jermaine. Well, let's see how Jermaine wins. Jermaine's really good with that long arm. He'll create some distance, boom, capture whatever you got to do, smoke the shit off you.
Right.
But he'll keep doing that, and he'll keep doing that, and he won't switch it up. And I'm like, all right, fine. I'd love to see you switch it up, but that is a weapon of yours. Yeah. What else he got a nice little bull rush. He likes to run down the middle of people. I don't advocate for no defensive hit. You play defense. You can't just run down the middle of people. Capture half. Do something to get that half off of you. Then go play. Right. So Jermaine Johnson is a player that I feel like he needs work.
Yeah,
he needs work.
I agree.
So me versus the field of the opinion on Jermaine Johnson. When I see him go, hey man, he could go to the Falcons. I'm like, top 10 to the Falcons? And they go, yeah. I'm like, damn, I got a problem with Jermaine Johnson, top 10 to the Falcons. But I got him at 25 on my big board. Not that he's going to get drafted 25, but he's just 25th best player on my big board. So if he gets taken in the middle of the first, late first, whatever, that seems like a pretty logical pick for a player that sometimes that ain't kind of got it all together, that's got to work on his tool belt a little bit.
Yeah,
you feel me?
And I agree. I thought, originally when I dropped my film when the season first ended, I had him like late first. I had him as a first round player, but it's kind of late first. I feel like after the Senior Bowl and after the Combine, he might be middle, 18, 19, give or take right there. So I never said, to be honest with you, I was a lot higher on Sante last year than I was on Jermaine this year, to be honest with you. But you were saying day 2, day 3, and that's where we had to have a look. I had to reel you back, man. But I'm glad you came back.
Well, it's only 7 picks between 25 and day 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, you said not the second round, not the third. I'm like, oh hell, and I. Your Vach army came at me, bro. I was minding my business.
I ain't send nobody at you.
Yeah, you did.
When I send people, I send people with love. If I sent people at you on this Jermaine thing, I simply wanted to know, well, Tuck, what do you see in this character? Because you tag me in every clip on Twitter.
Yeah, I had to feel. Because what happens is, like you said, I do a live show and I mention Jermaine Johnson to Mark. But someone who watches Vach's channel,
I ain't gonna like that.
He ain't got no band. He ain't got no. I'm like, I know what church you go to, man. I know what church you go to, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right. So that's what I was saying. But hey, I think that he is going to be a talent. I just hope he doesn't go to Philly. But like I said, I don't think he's top 5, top 10. I mean, honestly, at my defensive ends, I probably got him at 4 or 5, give or take. Which is fair, but he's a talent. Now, another guy that you did have on your top 50 board, a defensive end that I kind of like, that a lot of people were kind of skeptical about, is Cameron Thomas out of San Diego State. So tell me a little bit about Cameron Thomas when you watched him. I saw, kind of things like you said about Karlaftis, like a big physical guy, takes a lot of double teams, not the sexiest pass rush moves, man, but he's physical and has a high motor. What's your thoughts on Cam Thomas?
Physical, angry. He just kind of knows how to win. Sometimes you just got to find dudes that just know how to win. Plus, I think he was a victim of scheme, kind of, sort of, because you watch him play at San Diego State, they got him lined up at 0 sometimes, and I'm like, fam, he was just smoking B gap.
Right.
Like, he was just lined up at B gap. He was lined up at N, and he was killing everything over there. Why would you line him up directly over the center? And they'll double team him, they'll overpower him, or something like that. But he's another guy that I feel like, hey, I think he's mostly an even front guy. Like, I wouldn't want him two gapping too much. But hey, if you want to make him a base end and move him to do pass rush things and B gap, that's his world, man. That's his world. I like him a little more than most people do, which is that's just the world we live in, draft world or whatever. But as a player, like, if he's not in your top 50, I don't hate it. But, if you take him in the 3rd round, I think that's a good steal for you to do like that in the 3rd.
So let me ask you, because I know a lot of people have mocked the Cowboys with Sam Williams. Where would you lean if they're both available? I'm not a fan. Huh?
Cam. Okay. Sam is a 4th round guy to me.
See, okay. See, we on track. We back, man. We back, because, like, me personally, I just didn't see the Sam. I busted on that film when they tied him to Dan Quinn. He had the whole Micah comparisons. I'm like, this thing was dry. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yo, J Tuck. I like Sam Williams. Good player. I love to have him. Not no earlier than photo.
Right.
No earlier than photo. And going back to what you said, hey, Dan Quinn can fix people. So sure, he can take a flawed player in the 4th, and we can go from it there. But I just don't want Cowboy fans seeing anything on Twitter and just go, oh, Sam, it got to be the second, right?
He got to. We got to take him in the second. Got to be 56. No, you can't pass on. I'm like, bro, like, let's just
100%
relax a little bit.
And then plus, this the problem, man. I think, first of all, teams suck at drafting. So I think once you get to 56, just think about how many players that may be better than Sam Williams. hell, Travis might be there. Tyler might be there. I don't think Pickett's going to be there, but he could be there. Sky Moore could be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just pick guys and then just ask yourself, okay, would I Chad Moon or whatever? Just would I rather have this player or Sam Williams?
Right.
And you're going to find yourself picking a lot of players over Ed Ingram. You know what I mean? Pick a guy.
Right.
And before you know it, Sam Williams going to be down there with the guys in the late third and fourth. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how this draft works.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like I said, everybody, like as soon as he did that tie to Michael Parsons and Jerry Jones spoke on it, he flew up to the Cowboys fans' board.
And he looked just like Mike.
He did. I had to do a triple take. Like, all right, what's really going on? You know what I'm saying? But I know he kind of
his son like Michael's son.
Yeah, like, he has some off the field issues. The Cowboys seem like that. So speaking of off the field issues, cornerback position. Before I let you go, what's your thoughts on the cornerback position and how early should the Cowboys address it? I know you already spoke about Anthony Brown. A lot of Cowboys fans, Voch, don't understand Anthony Brown had a solid season last year. He just always had his target on his back amongst the fan base because what happened in Tampa and also the Raiders game. That's 2 games out of the 17-game season, right? And I feel like they did bring in Jordan Lewis to kind of be your slot guy. How early do you think the Cowboys need to aim for a corner? I've been personally fine on cornerback. I really haven't been going heavy because I thought we had more than enough depth. That was the position I was the most comfortable with, but we got some things looming in Dallas.
I'm also fine on corner. I mean, I believe that you got to look at what you got before you really say what you need or whatever. And it's mostly because Cowboy fans hate Anthony Brown or whatever. But assuming Kelvin doesn't get any additional news or whatever, I mean, he'll be there. Jordan Lewis and Nahshon Wright taking his next year.
Right.
We'll see what that is. So what you don't want to do is draft any corner anywhere and he's not better than Nahshon.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that'll be wasting picks. So you don't want to draft like redundancies or whatever. Like just draft another small guy like Jordan Lewis just for the sake of drafting. Right. So even though I do think you should draft corner every year, I think you should draft corner, linebacker, and some offensive lineman every year because those are the they recur the most and we play with multiple spots of them on the field at a time.
Right.
So we should draft corner at some point, but if it's like late, I would much rather it be late. Marcus Jones from Houston is one of my favorite, later guys.
But he's short, Voch. He's short. He's short,
but that he played.
Right, you lock it up out there. That's what I'm trying to say.
He's locked up some of your favorite corners in them smaller schools or whatever. But Houston got a lot of players on defense that can play in general. But just find a corner that you like and just roll with them and go put them in that developmental cycle. So you could put Israel there because he's a guy that was around. And the Cowboys keep those long corners that we may or may not use them. You know what I'm saying? And we'll just cross that, whether we let them go and they go to another team and do just fine. You know how it go.
Right.
But yeah, we should definitely draft a corner at some point. I'm just not in a rush to do it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have no sense of urgency unless Stingley fall right there in your lap. Just grab him, we'll figure it out as we go. You know what I'm saying? We'll figure it out later.
If Stingley's there, let's just go ahead and trade Jordan Lewis for like a 5th and go get some more, man. Just keep on loading.
Yeah, I feel like that's the player. So before I let you go, Voch, man, like I said, we're come up on draft on next Thursday. Go ahead and make the pick for the Cowboys. Who is your pick, man? You on the clock.
Kenyon Green, man. Kenyon Green straight off the bat. I think that's the safe pick. I think that's the pick that'll be there. I would love to have Jordan Davis, but if the league is smart, he shouldn't be there. Stingley, Karlaftis shouldn't be there. Linderbaum shouldn't be there, but he might be there. Jacoby Dean will be there, but I don't think the Cowboys like him as much. I think Kenyon Green is the better player than Devin Lloyd. And it just happens to address a need. I think he'll be better than the wide receivers that's available. Like if it's Kenyon Green versus like Chris Olave and Traylon Burks, I'm taking Kenyon Green and I'm looking at wide receiver immediately in the second round.
So how much do you think that Kenyon Green gives us versus Zion Johnson? Let's say Kenyon's off the board. Do you go with Zion or now do you look to another position?
So I'm not going to panic draft. Like if Kenyon's not there, I don't think as high of Zion as I think of Kenyon. Okay. So if it's like,
so you think Kenyon is the upper elite and then the fall off before you get to Zion. They're not neck and neck.
Kenyon's like my 12th ranked player. Zion's like in the 20s, maybe 30 somewhere on my board.
Okay.
I have to look at it. But Zion's a fine player. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with Zion. But it's not like if I don't get this, I gotta get this player now because we run out of guards. No, you just wait and just take a guard whenever it's time for you to pick again, and you'll be just fine. But I just think Kenyon different. I think Kenyon's gonna play in this league for a long time. I think one day we're gonna be looking up and Tyron Smith gonna get hurt, and one of our swing tackles did something stupid or something, and Kenyon Green gonna just show up and just play some tackle for us.
Right, just play a little tackle. You know what I'm saying? A little left tackle.
And you know, I
that
think
goes back to that versatility versus being a tweener. You know?
And I'm not just doing this because they look similar, but Mississippi State had an offensive line a couple years ago, Eldon Jenkins, and he went to Green Bay. He's played every position on the offensive line for them at some point in some game. That's my player comparison for Kenyon Green. I think he can do the exact same thing for Dallas. And that'll just blow me away, man. That'll just make me. I'm gonna get up and applaud and scream.
Yeah, that's like, you know what I'm saying. So what that is, that's the reversible winter coat. A lot of y'all didn't know that, man. You just had like the red on the other side. You can like switch it around and have it blue. You know, so they can do a lot with that one jacket, man. You can take the hood off, put the hood on. You can do a whole bunch of things with that, man. That's Kenyon Green.
I love Kenyon, and I wish people loved offensive line the way I did. You know, the way I do. I love Micah, but there's still a part of me that wish Rashawn Slater was the pick. That is what it is.
I know it's hard because like Rashawn Slater is no slouch. Some of my Chargers friends who I watched, man, they just rave and rant, but they want another one. They talking about Kenyon Green and Zion Johnson. I'm like, y'all greedy, bro. Y'all hella greedy, man. Like,
I love it. I love it. Double up on it. Having Kenyon Green and Rashawn couldn't be me. I'd be a Chargers fan tomorrow.
They got them waiver forms. No, I can't do it.
Nah, I saw it on the internet, man. I got too much invested in Cowboy land.
Yeah, because as soon as I switch and you know what I'm saying, all of a sudden y'all start rolling a little bit, I'm gonna be, hey man, you know, I can't do it, man. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this, man. But hey,
these downtimes is what's gonna make winning the Super Bowl much more sweeter.
Right.
I've had friends that I watched the whole Game of Thrones with, and I had friends that kind of binge Game of Thrones at the end. And the people that was around for that long process, that long grind or whatever, we appreciated the show more because we lived it week by week and we discussed it. You just go episode by episode, then you ain't getting nothing. So just showing up, being a Cowboys fan whenever we win, there's no fun in that. Fighting on the internet with Eagles fans every day, with people telling us we suck. When we win and we get to terrorize the streets for 365 days,
oh yeah,
that's what make it work.
Hey, trust me, as someone who just went through it with my Jayhawks, man, it's lovely. It's lovely, man.
I'm gonna be a bully like you. I'm gonna start tagging people to clips and shit.
You got send them reminders, man. But you know what we're gonna get, Vach? Oh, well, you guys never believed in. You didn't believe in Stephen Jones this year. You know what I'm saying?
Don't matter.
Yeah, don't matter. Hey, kiss the rings, man. Hey, I'm definitely gonna be out there with you, man. But hey, Vach, my guy, thanks for coming on, man. Like I said, you're extremely busy. You are killing it, bro. Like I said, I cannot say this enough, man. Keep doing your thing. Once again, let everybody know where they can find you on social media platforms.
VOCHLOMBARDI, Vash Lombardi on everything, on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all things.
Hey, what's this game you've been playing? Elden Ring or something?
Elden Ring, a bad boy. Oh, J Tuck, Elden Ring, it's cold, man. It's cold, man. It's probably one of them games I'm gonna be playing for the next 2 years, and it's not for casual people. Okay. Like if you want something, you can just sit down and play. Stay on Madden, dog. Stay on sports. Stay on this. You know what I mean? Elden Ring will drive you crazy, but it's and you can watch Vash Lombardi play at twitch.tv/Vash. It's cold. And also, I'll be live on The Volume. That's The Volume on YouTube. Type it in The Volume, like turn up the volume. Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Central, doing some type of content at 3 Central, Monday through Friday. So appreciate y'all. J Tuck, thanks for having me, man.
Yo, absolutely, man. Anytime, man. You know you family, man. I got on MLB The Show. That's what I've been on currently, man. But I was stuck on GTA 5, man. Still to this day. And it's just like the Cowboys, man. I'm just dumping money and getting the same old thing. They came out with the brand new PS5 version, same game. You know what I'm saying? Just tweaked it a little bit, you know. But here I am as a sucker, still playing it, enjoying it. GTA, and Skyrim have been making money for like a decade now. Like those are two PS3 games that are also on Switch. They on PS5. They on they keep getting remastered. So and I just felt stupid the other day, man. I was playing GTA 5, the enhanced version. I'm like, bro, this is the same game.
I played this.
Yeah, you know. Hey, but it's something about, you know what I'm saying, going to the casino on a Friday night, blowing a few $1 million, and you know, it's fun. It's enjoyable, man. But hey, Vach, I appreciate you. Keep doing your thing, bro. For everyone finding me for the first time, subscribe to the channel CFO Sports. You can find me on all social media platforms, JTuck151. And of course, every Sunday morning on the ship at 810 Radio, WHB, ESPN, Kansas City with my guy, Darren Smith. I will be live at the NFL draft, so I'll be dropping videos, trying to get interviews, doing the whole thing. I'm only working day one, Vach. Day two, don't y'all come looking for me, asking no questions, no nothing, man, because I'm gonna be at the pool chilling.
Be a fan.
I'm in fan mode, man. So I'm gonna tune into your day two streams, man, from the chat, and we're gonna kick it a little bit. But for the most part, man, don't y'all ask me no questions. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be out, man. But hey, I appreciate everyone who stopped by. I'm also about to drop a video. I had Michael Badajo. He is a defensive end out of Texas Southern University, is an NFL prospect. He came on, we did an interview. I'm going to drop that here at 7 o'clock, so definitely tune into that because the HBCU players got something to say too as well, and there's a few prospects out there making a name for themselves, so definitely tune into that. But I appreciate everyone. I want everyone to have a good weekend. Everyone stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged.